In this video, we're checking out the new Injora Diamond Portal axles for the TRX4M. We're going to be putting these on our new Gila Monster build. These axles combine the great look of the diamond axles, but give you the added functionality of the portals to lift you up and give you that extra ground clearance. We're going to be opening these things up. I'll show you what comes in the kit. Then we're going to go through the installation where we put them on the build, and then we're going to go hit the rocks and we're going to run them to see how these things do. So let's check them out. Right, let's take a look at these axles before we install them. Got one little box for each axle. I've already been into these just to take a look at them, but they're largely untouched here. Here's the rear axle. The rear axle is complete. You do get a little bit of hardware here to give you the brass hexes to go with this. It's our fully assembled front. We get more hardware with the front axle. We get our lay-down servo mount with our aluminum steering linkage, pivot balls, O-rings, and things for your linkage. Taking a look at these axles. Very, very similar design to their diamond axles that they just released for the TRX4M not too long ago. Except for the portal boxes, they look virtually identical, which is cool because this is a great looking axle housing. Love the diamond housing look. Gives it a scale, super cool factor to it. The way the light kind of reflects off of the various angles on these axles. Very cool looking. With these axles, you're going to gain about 10 millimeters of overall track width here. So they're plus 5 millimeters on each side. As far as ground clearance go with the portals, what it does, it lifts your pumpkin up, it lifts the center up here. You're going to gain about 9 millimeters of ground clearance in the center of the truck here. But just be aware, you put these on your build, it is going to lift up your chassis. That's always one of the drawbacks from portal axles, so just be mindful of that when you put these in. These axles do come complete. Injora does recommend that you break them down and grease them. We'll be doing that in just a minute. I'm going to be using the trusty Utter Butter here. It's my go-to grease for axles and all things lubrication-wise. You can check out my discount code and save 10% on all Cow RC products. Love those guys. But inside these axles, we do get the steel ring and pinion gears from Injora, metal portal gears out in the housings, and we've got bearings all throughout. So these are a really nice set of axles here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break these down. We're going to throw some grease in these, make sure they're good to go, and then we're going to install them on a build, see how they look and perform. So I'm going to dig in here, get them ready. Check it out, here's the axles installed on the truck. Installation was very straightforward. After I greased these up, I did find that there was no grease in the portal boxes, but the differentials were pretty well greased up, so that made the process quicker. I did check both just in case, but the centers are greased. You do want to grease the portals. Like I said, installation was very straightforward. I've got the Injora 7 kilogram servo, fits on here perfectly. The only troubles that I had personally was with these brass aftermarket links. They are very, very tight to go in these aluminum housings. That has nothing to do with these axles themselves. It has to do with the links because they're tight in any metal housing. But got that situated, got these things installed. They look really good on the truck. Love the black aluminum housings. They do lift it up substantially. I was expecting that. I put the springs back in here because I have a plan for this rig. Without the springs, you know, get custom chassis like this. This is the Gila Monster, the DBR Gila Monster. Lots of shock positions. You can manipulate your shocks to make up for the chassis height that you gain from the portals. One thing to note too, you do have to be mindful of what chassis you run with this because of the lay-down servo mount. There are clearance issues. Injora has said because of the width of the lay-down servo that the only chassis that it will work with from their lineup is the Injora Universal LCG chassis kit. Will not work with the LCG Bronco kit specifically I saw, and I'm assuming it's the same thing with the Defender. And definitely won't work with the stock chassis according to Injora. Again, this is the Gila Monster kit. We've got plenty of room here, so no issues with clearance with the lay-down servo mount. Just throw the tires on here to mock this thing up and show you how it looks. These are 64 millimeter tires on a 1.3 inch wheel. And again, bear in mind with the springs in here, it's going to lift it up significantly higher than it would normally sit. So put the body on. So now if I had this at full droop like I had before, full sag, it would fit perfectly on here. That's exactly what I was looking to do. So this would have been ideal, but again, I have plans for this little Beetle here. Fully sunk down, I love the look of that. That's a fantastic stance. Clears those tires really, really well. This was totally slammed before with tires rubbing all over the place, but this would be a really nice setup here. With the body and everything put together with the wheels and tires, you can see how much ground clearance you gain underneath here. Significant ground clearance. Pretty clean underneath. You got lots of clearance in the middle. The C-hubs here don't protrude too bad. There are some jagged edges there to be mindful of, catching those on rocks, but the way they're angled out, fairly close to the wheel, should be okay. In the rear is nice and clean. Got tons of ground clearance in the rear with minimal things to hang up. So overall, nice looking set of axles here, easy to install. I'm looking forward to trying these out. Out here in the backyard with the Gila monster on the new diamond portal axles. Just hanging out at the house today because my little buddy's out playing with the neighborhood kids and doesn't want to leave. So we're going to make do with what we got, have some fun out here. Really happy with how these things sit on the chassis, able to run those tires just how I want them. I did try to put some larger tires on here just for S&Gs, but I couldn't get them to fit, so I ended up going back to these 64 millimeter tires, which work perfectly with this setup. The backyard course is actually a pretty decent place to test the portals because they got these kind of jagged rocks here, like case in point right there. Look at that. That's exactly what you want portals for right there. I had to dial my steering radius back because I was getting rubbing on this new body. I'm gonna have to trim those front fenders, but I could adjust the shocks so that I had more clearance, but I didn't want to ruin my stance. I like the low stance where it is right now. It feels like, to me, pretty much perfect. It's another benefit of the portals right there. I'm gliding over that rock in the front. No problem. Getting a lot of gear noise from this. This has the metal geared transmission and metal gears throughout here. It's difficult to say where the root cause of that noise is. It's probably a combination of all of those factors. But working great. Still feeling pretty planted. I like it. There again, getting up over that obstacle. Oh, those things look good on there, don't they? Bug's feeling pretty planted despite losing some of my brass and my weight distribution on this. One thing with these axles that you aren't going to be able to use your usual diff covers and steering knuckles and things because they won't fit, so you kind of sacrifice some brass upgrades, but it still feels pretty planted here. Like that, I could have made that before, but I feel like, oh there, oh, I thought I had it. There we go. To change up my driving style a little bit there. I like the look of these axles, I gotta say. Like, look at that, sliding over that rock there. Nice. Good shot of those housings there. There we go. Nice. That brushless motor spinning in there. Oh, good looking axles. Alright guys, I dig these axles. I mean, they're everything that you would think they would be. They look great. They perform just like you expect they would. Oh, nice. They're doing great on this build. I'm really happy with these axles on here. I was skeptical about putting the portals on this. I didn't want to mess up my stance and center of gravity and things and all that work that I had done, but boy, they do really complement this chassis really well, and able to run those retro wheels with the bigger tires on here. Very cool. Plus the extra ground clearance and the functionality from the portals themselves. I like them. So the diamond portals are yet another great affordable option from Injora for a TRX4M. Solid construction, great looks, and the added functionality from all that ground clearance are definitely some of the pros. Some of the drawbacks of this is that you are going to be limited on what you can run these on. You're going to want to make sure that you have the appropriate chassis to run these things. Remember, Injora said that the universal LCG chassis kit will accommodate the laydown servo mount. This is the DBR chassis Gila monster. It's got plenty of room in there. I imagine several other aftermarket chassis will as well. So just make sure you do your homework before you pull the trigger on these, as they may not fit your chassis. I'm hoping Injora comes out with some brass upgrades for these. I would really like to have some nice heavy portal covers, something to help me shift that weight forward to the front again. As I mentioned during the run footage, when you put these on, if you had brass all up in the front, diff covers, knuckles, things like that, you're going to lose those because these are all aluminum. But with all that in mind, I really do like these axles, especially on this build. They gave it the stance and the appearance, just what I was looking for. And even though I got a little bit of tinkering to do, get some more clearance in the front end with this body on here, overall I think they worked out great. At the time of this recording, these are only available in black. They are available from Injora.com. I will put the link in the description down below. And remember, you can use my discount code and save 5% on all things at Injora.com. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the Diamond Portal axles? And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.